This is a little thing I like to call MLB Rants. Before I get into anything else, these are only my opinions. They are not universally correct, and you can agree or disagree with what I have to say. And again, you can put that down in the comments. Put down whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. If there's something that happens next week that you want me to go over, put that down in the comments below. I will be sure to read it, and I might be able to put it in the video next week. Who knows? So, this is the 2021 MLB season, episode 3. A few changes. I have my laptop with me this episode because, I don't know, I just feel like the paper, doing that constantly was bad. So I've got my laptop here, So let's start with. So first thing that I need to get out of the way, because it has been something I have talked about since this channel first started, and it's the umpire. Again, it's the umpires. I know it's a little, it's getting a little annoying now, but I do need to point out what has happened this week, because if it wasn't worthy enough to talk, I wouldn't talk about it. But the fact that so much stuff is going on, I feel like I kind of need to talk about this. So the Yankees were playing a team. I can't remember which team it was, and Aaron Judge was running to third, and he got tagged out at third. Now, the thing is that the Yankees wanted to review it because it was a really close call, and whenever a close call happens, the umpire then gives, the coach and the team time to figure out whether or not they want to review it or not. And basically, Aaron Boone, the manager for the Yankees, was given no time, because at that point, there were two things that they could review. One thing was reviewing whether or not Aaron Judge was actually out, or reviewing whether or not DJ LeMahieu scored before Aaron Judge was called out, because DJ LeMahieu was running home. And so they were trying to decipher which one they should review. And Aaron Boone got no time. Umpires went, we're just going to carry on with the game. And then Aaron Boone started yelling at the umpires. And then all that went down. The Athletics-Rays game, where I'm pretty sure it was Andrus who was running in from home. So he ran into home, slides into the plate, umpire calls him out. The Athletics decide to review it. They see it on the replay. And even the Athletics are like, okay, yeah, he's safe. Like just on the big screen, just on the Jumbotron. And umpires come back and they're like, yeah, he's out. And it's clear as day. It is clear as day. Every time it is clear as day that these runners are either out or safe. In the Brewers Marlins game, Braves game, the pitcher for the Brewers got a slow roller down the first base line, and he picked up the ball and then tossed it to Vogelback, who's the first baseman for the Brewers. But the umpire called pitcher's interference, meaning that the pitcher got in the way of the runner while he was running to first base, which gives that runner the automatic base to first. If you think about it, if the runner were to get hit by the baseball, that would then be runner's interference, and the runner would be called out. Where's the pitcher supposed to go? Is he just supposed to let the runner go by and then pick up the ball and toss it? No, that's dumb. These umpires are they're getting worse. But, oh my God, I hate umpires. So now that we're done talking about the umpires, thank God, I now want to move on to something I saw this week. So there's this baseball league based in Washington called the Pioneer Baseball League, right? And what they've decided to do is eliminate, what extra innings is now and replace it with a sudden death home run derby. Now, I saw this and I thought it was the greatest idea of all time, because who doesn't love a home run derby? Who doesn't? Home run derbies are the best. There's been a lot of controversy regarding extra innings, especially this year with the amount of extra inning games that are going on, where you have the runner starting on second, and people don't agree with that whatsoever. And so And it's honestly just a way for the game to speed up a bit, even though it doesn't necessarily speed the game up. It kind of makes it more interesting than it does speed the game. This introduction of a sudden death home run derby is genius. So what you have is you'll have someone from Team A versus someone from Team B that goes, in the order of the lineup, and they both get 5 pitches, and whoever hits the most home runs between them wins the game for their team. And if they tie, then it just keeps on going down until one person beats the other person. I think it's genius. I think MLB should at least introduce it to, just try it out. Like, say the All-Star game goes into extra innings. If they were to do that and have a home run derby for extra innings, that would be amazing to watch. Next thing, Madison Bumgarner, pitcher for Arizona Diamondbacks, threw a no-hitter this week, but it didn't count. They played a doubleheader against the Braves, and with doubleheaders now in the MLB, you'll have one game that's 9 innings long, but the other game that you play will only be 7 innings long. Yeah, pitched a no-hitter. Didn't give up a single hit, didn't give up a run. I think he got 7 strikeouts, and his ERA sits at like 6.31 right now. Madison Bumgarner has been having a really tough time with it, clearly, as he has a 6 ERA. God forbid he actually gets a real no-hitter. So yeah. The next thing is Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is he's a pitcher for the Angels, and he can also hit dingers. So Shohei Ohtani, since Babe Ruth, right, is the first MLB player to start a game pitching-wise and lead the league in home runs. He's got 7 home runs. It's incredible that is still going on. Because, you think about it, back in the day, you had tons of utility. Like, Babe Ruth was a pitcher, but people knew him more for hitting. That was his thing. But he still pitched from time to time. Whereas Shohei Ohtani, his main position is pitching, but he still hits bombs like he's a position player. It's crazy. And the weird thing about it, at this point, I can't imagine what position Shohei Ohtani would actually play if he didn't pitch. The next item is about a relief pitcher named Kent Emanuel. Kent Emanuel made his major league debut this week, right? Good pitcher. Just, it's not like he's huge news or anything. I don't think anyone really knew who he was before he started his MLB debut, but let me just tell you how his MLB debut actually went. Originally, Jake Odorizzi was on the mound. He was able to get 1 out and got injured. Well, it's still early in the game. We might as well put the rook in. Why not? So he comes in and he pitches the rest of the game. No joke, 8 2/3 innings is what he pitches. He almost pitched a complete game if it wasn't for Odorizzi's 1 out that he got. It was the longest relief outing by any pitcher since 1988, and in 1988 that was Neil Allen, and of course, what's going to be higher than 8 2/3, the full 9 innings, and it was the longest outing in an MLB debut since 1974. The dude can pitch, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on him because no one ever heard of him, and you hear, oh, he did 8 2/3 of relief pitching, and you go, what? 8 2/3? Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is Max Scherzer and his trade deals, because there are a lot of players in the league and a lot of good players in the league who are expected to get traded this year, but Max Scherzer is the one who's been talked about the most. I'm going to give you all those options, and then out of those options, I'm going to say which one is the best one, because in my mind, it makes sense. So, yeah, but again, don't have to agree with it. So, Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, Blue Jays, Angels, Astros, Twins, Phillies, Giants, Mariners. So majority is AL. So clearly tired of being in the NL. Or no, the 3 NL teams. Tired of being in the NL. I think that Max Scherzer will go to the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays are up and coming. Oh my God. You got George Springer, just got back. They've got Hyun-Jin Ryu. They've got Marcus Semien. They've got a great lineup. And I think that if Max Scherzer wants to be as successful as possible, I feel like his best bet is to go to Toronto and pitch for them. And he can definitely win them some games. And I feel like the Toronto Blue Jays will be a postseason team again, especially after losing Jose Bautista a few years ago. They will be a postseason team again. And, they might make it all the way. Because at that point, you'll have good pitching and some good fielding too. So the Blue Jays, I feel like, is where Max Scherzer is going to go. Now, one player I didn't mention who also makes up that lineup is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Dude had a 3 home run game the other day. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., AL MVP. I said JD Martinez a few weeks ago, but in the back of my mind, I knew that, that was really a long shot. But now I can say that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be the AL MVP. That might change, yes. But I think he will be the AL MVP. He's so good, especially this year. It's been talked of for so long about when he was actually going to get fired up and get, in the swing of things. And this season, he has done that. And he is looking phenomenal, especially for the Blue Jays. So between Max Scherzer and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I feel like both of them combined to make a really good team next year. And I feel like the Blue Jays can really do something next year. Another thing I want to get into is the Padres. I talked about the Padres last week, about the Dodgers-Padres series. Again, last weekend, great series, so interesting. Still going to be watching it all year long. Even going further into the Padres, I need to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. He's going to win the Silver Slugger this year. Even the Golden Glove. He's going to win something. NL MVP, anything. He's going to win something. I don't know what it is. It could be all 3 awards for all I care. Nothing gets by him on the field. The dude hit 4 home runs on the series against the Dodgers. And that was against Bauer, Kershaw. The thing between him and Bauer is the funniest thing of all time. Because it just really goes to show how great this game is. Trevor Bauer he's probably one of the cockiest players well, maybe not cocky, but he's very arrogant. He knows he's good. And that's not a bad thing. And it's definitely not a bad thing where you can appreciate and respect someone else's play style and what they do. Because you see Tatis Jr. covering his eye when he's running the bases and doing the, McGregor strut that Trevor Bauer does when he leaves the game. And Trevor Bauer's doing this stupid thing with the sword, and I was kind of hoping that Tatis would hit another home run and then do that with his bat, but he didn't end up doing it. I just thought that would be really great to watch. Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to win something this year. I can't put my finger on what exactly it is. At this point, I think he's going to win NL MVP, Silver Slugger, and the Golden Glove. Because he's an all-around player. I mean, come on. Another thing is there were talks during the offseason about the Yankees trading Aaron Judge to the Angels. When you think about it, if you've got Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, he is right now, on a hot streak, the Angels will be unstoppable. It wouldn't be a question whether or not, are the Mariners leading the AL West? No. Angels would be going on winning streaks all day long. When you think about it, Aaron Judge isn't having a slump this year. So who knows? I feel like him going to the Angels would have been a pretty good option, honestly. When you think about the rest of the AL, because who's going to beat the Angels at that point? Big news items. Yay! Big news! I want to go into the AL championship race. Everyone is bad, which makes it good. The Twins, who were good, and now they're bad. You've got the Yankees, who are being, carried by half their team. You've got the Rays, who were good last year, and now they're terrible. You've got teams like the Mariners, who for some reason are one of the best teams in their division. The Red Sox have been looking really good, and they've hit well against even Cy Young pitching they've done well against. So the Red Sox are a team to really look at. The Blue Jays, now that George Springer is back, and especially Vladimir Guerrero Jr., they could be a team that really goes for the AL championship too. And then, of course, the Angels with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout still hitting nukes, of course. The Astros are high in power rankings, and they've been doing great. So, yeah, the AL championship race is really close, and it's really coming down to, who actually buckles up, because there hasn't really been a team that's made a breakthrough. AL is an interesting one this year, especially for the championship. So this has been a big thing this week about the MLB expansion and this number 2.2 billion that has been flying around. I'm here to explain that because I've actually done my research on it. I've read into it so that I can give the information to you, give my input for you. So the whole deal with that is the Tampa Bay Rays and the Oakland Athletics have terrible facilities, according to the MLB commissioner. The $2.2 billion is like the number that a team needs in order to, stay comfortable in the league. The Rays have been playing in the same dome since the 90s, and then the Athletics shared their field with the NFL Oakland Raiders until they went to Vegas, and now they've been playing at that field since the 80s as well, when they won the World Series with Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire. What the commissioner has said is that if they don't revamp their facilities, then they're going to think about expanding the MLB to other cities. Some of them I've heard about before, but some of them are really new and honestly pretty exciting. So the city that I do know of, because I remember this from a few years ago, was Portland, and they were thinking about, if the MLB were to expand, then Portland would be the best bet. I thought it wasn't logical to expand, to one team. And because it wasn't, we're going to replace this team with a team from Portland. No, it was, we're going to add Portland onto it. And then that just kind of fell through the cracks. And I just thought, having 31 teams instead of 30 teams just did not make sense. But now if they're talking about, we'll replace the A's and the Rays with 2 other teams from different cities, I'm totally on board for that. The Rays and the A's don't bring in revenue. That's why they're talking about all this expansion stuff. The Rays, they're close to winning the World Series, but, now they're not looking too great. The A's are supposed to be good, and then I don't know, they're just not, in my opinion, I feel like the A's are a good team, but I'm just not seeing what I kind of want them to do. So possible cities, a team in Portland, a team in Vegas, a team in Charlotte, Nashville, Montreal, Vancouver, and this is the most interesting one, potentially some teams in Mexico. I kind of like this idea. I like this idea. If you were to introduce that in, cities in Mexico, I feel like that would be a huge hit. And it'd be so interesting to see what players would actually play for that team. Because if you're just replacing the team with another city, so let's say the Rays turn into the Mexico City Rays, who knows? Would it be the same team, or would they draft other players? They mentioned Montreal and Vancouver, which, both Canadian, and especially back in Montreal when they were the Expos, it'd be interesting to reintroduce Montreal teams because the Expos were a good team. Back in the day, they were a good team. Vegas, especially with, again, I already mentioned them, the Raiders going to Vegas. Maybe Vegas is the new up-and-coming, because it's already a sports hub for betting, but for sports games in general, it'd be great to see, some teams or a team in Vegas. This expansion thing is a really big deal, and if the Rays and the A's don't get it together, they don't get the money that they need in order to stay in the MLB, then they're just gonna get cut from those cities and move on to different cities that can actually afford it because they have the money for now, but they still need, to win games. That is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, down in the comments section, if you agreed with some of the things I said, write them down, send them through. If you disagreed with some of the things I said and you want to put in your own input, feel free to do that. If there's something that happens next week that you want me to bring up, put that down in the comments section below and I'll be happy to read it. I might even put it in my video next week because, community right here. I hope you like the new renovations with my computer. I hope me doing the papers isn't such a big distraction anymore. That is the end of episode 3 I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week. Peace.